participants of FICCI's annual convention and 96th annual general meeting. Congratulations, Subrakant, for a very productive and successful year gone by. All the best. Dr. Anish Shah, my good friend and captain of Indian industry, who's always at the forefront of looking after the interests of India, looking after what can be done to address the challenges that are faced both by India and the other parts of the world. I remember calling them up during the Ukraine crisis, and they were absolutely ready and willing to help whatever was required through their offices around Ukraine. Warm welcome as the incoming president, and I wish you well and a lot of successes in the year ahead of us. Of course, it's the election year, and critical for the country in terms of the stability and defining the future of the country. So you'll have your hands full, I'm sure, this year. Thank you, Harsh, for your services as the vice president, and I wish you well. It's a 2-year journey, and you'll have to devote a lot of time. So thoda Kolkata ko bhulna padega aapko kuch samay ke liye. As did my good friend Sanjeev last year, almost spending most of his time in Delhi, lost for my home city. But thank you for your services to industry, to the nation, to FICCI. Thank you, Mr. Pathak, for all the work that you're doing for FICCI and for the power that you brought into the various activities of FICCI over the last year and a half now, I think. And all the best for the future. Excellencies, all the distinguished past presidents of FICCI, all the committee members of FICCI, our women power who's here in big strength this morning, friends from the media, some young friends I can see at the back of the room. Yesterday I suggested in one of the programs that we should start having all the youngsters sit in front. I'll probably get more traction to what I'm trying to say. Friends, I'm amazed. On a winter morning in December, to get so many of you out on, at what, 9:15 probably, everybody would have been here, is truly amazing. And all of you really deserve an applause for yourself. For the commitment you have all shown, both to FICCI, to the nation, and to the future of India as the world's growth engine. Thank you very much for reiterating the commitment as a team that all of you have accepted as we progress in the Amrit Kal towards making India a developed nation, a prosperous nation by 2047. In fact, as I was sitting there, I was wondering whether these cameras really came from the media or you organized it just to make me feel good. Because I can still understand you getting the captains of industry early morning, but getting the media out early morning is truly phenomenal. Especially, and it's not their fault, they work late into the night every day, but truly demonstrates the commitment that each one of us in this room has to making India a better place to live in, taking India to greater heights, and finding our true place in the world ecosystem, the world economy. Today, as many of you may be aware, is Bodhi Day. It's the day on which Lord Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. I think as a nation, we are also gaining the same level of confidence and understanding of India's strengths, of India's true position. As each day and year passes, more and more of us are recognizing where India stands, what our role in the future of India will be, and how we can contribute to making India truly a developed nation. The Honorable Prime Minister had very rightly said, there comes a time in the development journey of every country when the country redefines itself afresh and pushes forward with new resolutions. Today, that time has arrived in the development journey of India. And this transformation that the nation is going through, this metamorphosis where we are engaging with the world from a position of strength, where the world is recognizing India and the land of possibilities, this incredible India we see is converting itself, is gradually turning into inevitable India. And that's the strength that we are all witnessing. That's going to be our journey in the next 25 years, 24 now, with 1 year of Amrit Kal gone by. And I have no doubt in my mind that the Bharat of today will indeed be the world's growth engine, not only in words, but in terms of vision, not only in ideas, but in terms of action. And collectively, this nation is going to be powering the world economy for several decades to come. Our roadmap for the future is clearly laid out. We are looking at an exponential growth journey. We are looking at becoming the third largest economy in the world, maybe the next 3 or at best 4 years before we overtake the 2 other economies ahead of us. But clearly, the vision is laid out when we look at creating India as a manufacturing base, when we look at making India the technology hub and innovation center of the world. The vision is very clear that our services sector is going to engage and grow with the best of technologies and modern thoughts across the world. And our mission is extremely clear, that we are all committed to making India a developed nation. And when I say we have to be a developed nation, we are looking at a 10x growth to become a $35 trillion economy by 2047. And that mission is what drives each one of us in our individual capacity, in our activities as business leaders, in our work through social engagements, through our CSR activities, and the collective effort that the nation as a whole is making, be it in education, be it in healthcare, be it in ease of doing business and reducing the compliance burden, decriminalizing laws, ease of doing business, ease of living. Every effort by government, by the corporate sector, and by the people at large is focused towards that single mission, like Arjun's eye, that we collectively as a nation have resolved to become a developed nation so that every child born in India has a better future to look forward to. Clearly, the Prime Minister's leadership has resonated with the people of India. It's evident year after year, week after week, when popularity ratings come out and we find him not only the most popular leader that we have in India, but the most popular leader in the world today. And that is what is driving India's growing relevance and importance across the world. At the APEC Leaders Summit 3 weeks ago in San Francisco, I was engaging in a conversation with the Mexican president, he didn't remember the name of Morning Consult. So he was saying there's some agency in the United States which comes out with a weekly survey report. And week after week, since 2014, Prime Minister Modi has been on the top of the chart as the global most popular leader in the globe. And then with a slight smile he tells me, but you know, 1 week, mark my words, 1 week, I had overtaken Prime Minister Modi in 9.5 years. But he said it with a lot of adulation, with a lot of admiration, with a lot of respect for Prime Minister Modi, recognizing that the world today looks up to him for providing solutions to the challenges the world is facing, his adept handling of the COVID crisis, the way he steered the Indian economy from weakness, a fragile 5 economy, to the world's 5th largest economy, the way he has fundamentally altered all the economic indicators, the fundamentals of Indian economy, be it lower inflation, lower interest rates, consistently working to increase our investments into the country, increase foreign exchange reserves, strengthening the confidence of the nation through manufacturing impetus to the economy, through support to the services sector, through ensuring equitable distribution of the basic needs that every family requires across the country. All of these measures consistently over the last 9.5 years have helped India today provide 3 basic fundamentals that are required before one can aspire for the long haul for the next 2 or 3, 4 decades of consistent growth for the well-being of the people of the nation. On the one hand, he focused on the economy, prudent economic management. Many of the indicators are well known to all of you, have helped India today go with an element of confidence when we look at international engagements. In fact, while the IMF may have a formula and the Reserve Bank may report our $600 billion foreign exchange reserves as maybe 11 months of imports, which is significantly higher than what most other countries in the world have. My own perspective about our foreign exchange reserves is that they are now sticky. In the most challenging of times post-Ukraine crisis, in the most difficult situation where interest rates in Europe and the United States, other parts of the world were at elevated levels, and most people felt there would be an outflow of foreign exchange, massive outflow which could threaten India's economy. We found that people preferred to stay in India. We found that our reserves are sticky, and therefore I dare say, if we really look at our foreign exchange reserves, they are enough to provide, even if we continue to have our current levels of current account deficits or current levels of trade deficits, they are enough, considering the other inflows that we get in terms of remittances, in terms of foreign investment. Our current reserves are enough for the next 5 or 6 years without any threat to India's economy, without any threat to our foreign currency valuations. In fact, the world's largest investment bank, the CEO of the world's largest investment bank, again in San Francisco, in a conversation with me, was sharing with me that Indian currency is one of the safest currency for us to invest in. And we are looking at massive investment flow into India, considering the stability of the Indian rupee demonstrated during the last 2 years when most other emerging markets face significant stress. And therefore, friends, on the one hand, with a strong economy and fundamentals of the economy, our focus parallelly was on meeting the basic needs of every single individual, every single family across the length and breadth of India. Gone are the days when concerns around food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, education, the basic needs, electricity, bijli, sadak, pani used to be a slogan once upon a time in elections. All the basic needs have been a focus of this government, not in terms of weakening the fabric of the country or weakening the desire to work hard, but in terms of empowerment for every child in this country, for every family in this country, for the less privileged sections of society. Our desire was to empower everybody so that their basic needs are taken care of. And given the Digital India push and the fact that we have 930 million internet users today, most of them through their smartphone, we have an ability to reach out and see what's happening across the world. And therefore, our young boys and girls today, with their basic needs taken care of, and all those statistics are well known, 40 million families getting a free home, 600 million people eligible for free health care, 810 million people getting free food grains. Across the country, every home having their own toilet, having digital connectivity in the length and breadth of India, the country moving towards 100% homes having water from a tap, Nal Se Jal through the Jal Jeevan mission, where we've already saturated around 70% of the households. The next couple of years, and 100% households will have the basic needs of water coming into their home through a tap. Infrastructure investments, helping roads reach every village and gradually every home. The transformation of a person's life, leading to ease of living, is driving our young boys and girls to aspire for a better quality of life, for all the good things that they see on their phone, available in Sydney, in Tokyo, in London, Dubai, Singapore, New York, Frisco. The world is on our smartphone today. And that aspiration is what drives the Indian young person to work hard, to work for a better future. And on the third track, our investments in infrastructure, where the private sector, co-investing with the central government and state governments, for the first time, a budget provided for 10 lakh crores for infrastructure investments. Another 3 lakh plus crores went to the states. Private sector adding their own investments in infrastructure. And we are all aware of the multiplier impact that this infrastructure investment has on any economy, with demand for steel, cement, sanitary ware, carpets, furniture, electricals, you name it. And it resonates into additional demand with infrastructure investments. And look at Delhi alone today. Through COVID, we worked to make some of the finest offerings that we have. We have Bharat Mandapam, we have Yashobhumi, we have a new parliament building, new office complexes coming up which will be efficient, modern, functionally better. Vanijya Bhavan is one such example, but you can see 10 or 15 buildings being built which will provide a new edge to the way government works. You see the infrastructure on roads, railways, highways. The way the country is transforming, you can travel from Delhi to Mumbai in 12 hours. And of course, if you travel in an electric vehicle through that 12-hour journey, maybe you need one pit stop to charge your battery while you have lunch. And a family of 4 or 5 can travel from Delhi to Mumbai, I think in less than $100, or for 5 or 7, 8,000 rupees. Though, by the way, when I gave this figure to an electric vehicle manufacturer, he said, "I'm sorry, sir, it won't be $100, the cost of travel will be only $12 in terms of the electricity consumption. Of course, I'm not one to take it lying down. I said there'll be the cost of wear and tear of tires and battery wear and tear and interest and depreciation, and therefore my $100 figure stands. But I'm just showing you the way the country is transforming its thinking to be abreast with the most modern technologies, to innovate in India, powering demand for goods and services, which will help us get economies of scale when we make or serve from India, and help us be more competitive with high quality goods to serve the rest of the world. And therefore these three pillars, friends, the pillar of strong fundamentals of the economy, the pillar of an aspirational India with their basic needs met, and the pillar of massive investments directed towards infrastructure is what will define the next 3 decades. An under 30 population, 28.4 is our average age, expected to be under 30 for the next 30 years, will add $30 trillion to our GDP. No wonder the world is looking to India, wants to do FTAs with India, wants to have better relations with Prime Minister Modi. And I can tell you, I was in Frisco only as a representative of Prime Minister Modi for the APEC Leaders Summit. But the respect and the response to India's ideas, to India's offerings to the summit and to the IPEF summit was unimaginable any time in the past. The world leaders are looking up to you, are looking up to India. The respect was for 140 crore Indians, the power of 1.4 billion Indians, represented by Prime Minister Modi's leadership, which today the world looks up to when we are looking at finding solutions to the manifold problems before the world. And friends, this is the time, this is the right time. If we don't capture the opportunities available before us, if we don't grasp these opportunities, we'll miss the bus. And therefore, it's for each one of us to see whether this bright spot where we are today, this sweet spot that is available across the world, where almost the complaint that I get is not that the FTA is not happening. The complaint I get is you're not moving fast enough to do a free trade agreement with us. Where a country is very keen to beat the record of our India-UAE FTA, which was about 88 days, the world's fastest negotiated FTA, where now the world tells me, can we beat that record with you? And can we do it faster? Where countries across the world as far as Peru and Chile, where I would have thought they would not have much economic interest or interest to trade with India, are pursuing me that we want to do an expedited fast tracking of FTA negotiations. Where a large block of countries complains to me that you're too focused on the other FTA and you're not giving enough time to our FTA. Friends, that's your power. That's your power that you need to celebrate. They're not wanting it with me. I'm not in business. And I think with your blessings, Prime Minister Modi will continue to serve the nation, to take the country forward in the years to come. So I'm not looking to come back into your world. You don't want me as a competitor, do you? But the time has come, friends, to seize these opportunities. We have tried to set the bar high. Please join us in this mission. We have tried to saturate government policies. You try to saturate the world markets with your products, your services. And think of the 9 years. Prime Minister Modi has not looked at things in isolation. Every program of his has been to a plan. If you recall, one of the first things he announced, or amongst the 2 or 3 things he announced, was Digital India, Make in India, Swachh Bharat, and an identity card, Aadhaar, for every person in the country. He made sure financial inclusion brings every family into the banking network. Of course, now the Jan Dhan accounts have exponentially grown to 500 million accounts, 50 crore Jan Dhan accounts. 99% of the people have their own Aadhaar card. And every program has been taken to remotest parts of India without discrimination. Nobody has ever been asked what his religion is, what his language is, whether he voted for the BJP in the last election or he did not. We've never looked at any of these. For us, it is India first, and it will always be India first, an India which is inclusive, an India where every child born in this country will have a better future awaiting him. And it is with this holistic vision that every single program is taken up. Be it our ethanol program, where we've grown from barely 1% to 12% now. Be it the electric mobility vision, where I personally think we can quickly move to replace all the buses in the country, all the trucks in the country, possibly even all the two-wheelers in the country on an expedited mission mode. Also looking at the four-wheeler segment expanding rapidly from the barely 1.5% that we have today in terms of fresh sales. We are right now still at fresh sales. We have not even started the progress on replacement of old vehicles fast enough. Can we have more vehicles scrapping across the country? Can each one of you start demanding that in your company all vehicles will be electric vehicles? All trucks coming into your company will be electric vehicles coming in and both supplying and taking finished goods? Can each one of you support the mission to make 100% electric vehicles a reality, not by mandate, but by an economic value proposition? I mean, I was looking at the electric buses. There cannot be a better economic value proposition than replacing every bus with an electric vehicle. Mumbai Municipal Corporation is working on it. BST, as any of the friends from Mumbai would know, was perpetually a loss-making body. They have now moved into electric buses. Another year and a half, it will be 100% electric buses. And the losses of a loss-making entity of years, the transport part of BST. And we as consumers would subsidize, cross-subsidize through elevated electricity bills. And the municipal commissioner assured me a few days ago that as soon as all the buses are electric, we would be ending all the losses that we make in BST in the transport division and will convert it to a profit-making body. Every state transport corporation will become a profit-making body without great capex on the OPEX, including interest and depreciation. When you lease a bus, your cost of operating a bus is less than it costs with a diesel bus. I would suspect the same would be true for trucks. And we have large manufacturers who are members of FICCI. I appeal to all of you, let's look at scale. Let's go beyond what you perceive as the current demand. Let's think big And if all of us join in this effort, it'll give confidence to those in the electric mobility system to also go faster, to invest faster. And imagine the holistic dimensions in terms of our foreign exchange reserves that we save with lesser imports of crude oil. And the day we can get rid of crude oil imports, can you imagine where the country will be, how fast we can grow? Our dimensions of growth will suddenly change. Our dimensions of strong rupee will become a reality. Our expectations of an environment which is pollution-free, particularly in the cities where automobiles play a huge role, it can have transformational impact on the nation's economy. And I would urge friends in FICCI, captains of industry, to focus on the two elements which the whole world today recognizes: inclusive growth and sustainable growth. And I think holistic development of the country on this twin track will help us engage with the rest of the world better, engage with the rest of the world with even greater confidence and from a position of strength. The historic victory that we've had, the hat-trick of 2023, the 3 victories that we had in 2023, foretell a possible hat-trick in 2024 with your blessings, with your good wishes. Don't hesitate. Go for it. Let's start seeing greater degree of private sector investments coming up. Let's all of us become FICCI Bharat ambassadors, a program Prime Minister Modi launched yesterday, and which I have joined proudly as an ambassador of FICCI Bharat, as a brand for the country, as a representative of the country, to make the country a developed nation, a commitment that each one of us should have. I urge each one of you to become a FICCI Bharat ambassador, to proudly tell the world you are an ambassador for a developed India, that you have joined the movement. This goes beyond the ordinary. We are looking at a self-reliant and Atmanirbhar Bharat, a Bharat which is not only vocal for local, but a Bharat which goes global, a Bharat which looks at modern technology, innovation, powering our future, a Bharat that will address the problem of CBAM with confidence. We'll find solutions. We'll see how we can convert CBAM also to our advantage if it comes in. Of course, I will retaliate. You need not worry about it. India today doesn't take these things easily. Even with the United States, we retaliated when they put in unfair taxes on us. And see finally what happened. We were able to resolve all the 7 WTO disputes. Imagine, this is the first time in the history of WTO, in the last 40 years, or even GATS before that. First time, 2 nations who used to perpetually be at odds on various issues, and United States and America, we had 7 WTO disputes of significance, some of them over 10, 15 years old. We were able to settle every one of them, all 7, bilaterally. Today we have not a single dispute with the United States. At WTO, we have not a single area where we are fighting adversarially. This can only happen when India is respected, India is admired, and the friendship with India carries value. And of course, it has to be a win-win for both parties. So please do not worry about blips coming into the future. This country overcame COVID very admirably, very honorably. We'll overcome any challenge that comes before the world. Together, we can. I encourage each one of you to go with confidence from this annual general meeting, to go and engage with the world with confidence. As they say, the pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The optimist, the realist, adjusts the sails to take advantage of the winds. We will take advantage of every adversity that comes before us. We'll convert every crisis into an opportunity. We'll shed the colonial mindset of pessimism. We'll shed the past historical legacy of corruption and family rule and appeasement politics. We'll bring around a new era where development is taken up with confidence, where we engage with the world from a position of strength, where people's policies and people-first policies will take the country forward in an inclusive fashion. We'll realign our ambition and our vision to be more optimistic, to be more ambitious as we go along towards a FICCI Bharat at 2047, powering the world economy, powering a glorious future for all of India. My best wishes to each one of you in the new year for a greater success story. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Honorable Minister, sir, for your insightful address. We are indeed grateful
Honorable
to you.
Minister has agreed to take 2 or 3 questions. So I'd request our past presidents if they'd like to. Any of our past presidents? Pankaj bhai?
This new Jan Vishwas Act, which has been recently passed in Rajya Sabha, I think is the right direction towards creating a kind of atmosphere for trust among all of us, and in the process, rather than just regulating, we are trying to create partnering kind of an opportunity there. So I would like to hear more about that from your...
Thank you, that's brilliant. In fact, that's another area which Prime Minister has been focused on, I would say almost